do that part.
Notice is hereby given of a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the District to be held at 105 Port Road, Port Isabel, Texas, on the 14th of January 2015 at the hour of 6 p.m. for the consideration of the business of the agenda below. The notice is posted at the office of the District on January 8, 2015 at 1:30 p.m. in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, and a copy has been furnished to County Clerk at Cameron County, Texas. The meeting is called to order. There is a quorum. The notice of the meeting has been duly posted as required by law. Item 2, would everybody rise for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3 is invitation to the audience for discussion. Anyone? Let's move on to item number 4, consider and approve minutes for the workshop meeting of December 10th, 2014 and the regular meeting of December 10th, 2014. You have a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wells. Second?
I'll second it. Under the question, I do have something to say.
Yes, sir. We have a motion by Mr. Wells, a second by Mr. Thomas. Any questions?
It was clearly stated when I made this motion that under item number 10 that we were going to have a 40% rate increase on meters from 1 inch and up with 75% pledged to infrastructure of the district. That's pumps and pipes and blower motors and stuff like that, okay? I just want to make that clear. There seemed to be some confusion.
You got that correct. You confirm that, and the other question, that's 75% of the 40% increase.
Of the 40% increase, that's correct.
Correct. Any other questions on the minutes? We have a motion by Mr. Wells, a second by Mr. Thomas. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, presentation by the City of South Padre Island on tax and increment reinvestment zone. Mr.
I'm going to hand these out real quick if y'all don't mind.
Don't frighten me.
We have Dr. Jones here trying to
Thank you.
let the board know about the tax increment reinvestment zone that was presented to the district 2010, 2011.
Okay.
Accomplished
You worked hard on that.
the goal of acquiring that program account and get the starting again.
Can you state your name, please?
Yes, sir. My name is Darla Jones. I'm the Assistant City Manager with City of South Padre Island. We originally just started discussing this zone and this proposed zone in August of 2010. And there are a couple of new board members with the Water District, and we've had some other things come up, and so we're starting this process all over again. Recently, Cameron County approved participating in the zone on Monday. They had a special called County Commissioners meeting Monday, approved the zone, and so I thought I would kind of revisit this just a little bit. You can see the maps that I handed out. They are 3-part maps because our city limits is so narrow and long. The area in the purple, shaded in purple, the properties shaded in purple are the areas that we've designated to be in the zone. And I've also handed out our project plan, finance plan, development plan, whatever you want to call it. And just to give you a basic rundown of what a tax increment reinvestment, or TIRS, is, the property shaded in purple, the appraised value, the base year we have set as 2010 because that's the year we started working on all of this. Those properties, you set a base year for the appraisals. When and if the appraisals go up in the future, most of these are vacant properties that you're looking at, or they're public property. The vacant properties, when and if they develop and their appraisal values increase, the taxes generated off that incremental value will go into a TIRS fund, which will be used for infrastructure improvements on the island. We're looking at, we've identified, and the infrastructure improvements that we're looking at can only be spent within the TERS zone. So taxes collected from the area can only be spent back into that area. We have Cameron County participating, the city is participating, and we hope to have y'all participating as well. You had agreed to participate in 2011, and we're hoping that you will climb back on board and continue to reinvest in the infrastructure of the island.
I think you have to explain what the infrastructure is to the island, and to some of the new board, well, I mean, why you may know, but I mean, it's added value back into to the interest of the property surrounding area, raises nose, you're holding the property on one area, the taxes on one area, but hopefully it's gonna improve the entire area as
Yes.
it goes up, so you're counting on the long run.
Yes, we're looking at putting the money back into the island as far as extending the center medians that we have right now, extending them all the way to the convention center. That's really kind of a safety issue. We're looking at improving sidewalks. The money could go towards convention center projects, different things of that nature. And we have always had such a wonderful working relationship with Carlos and all the staff, and we're really kind of hoping that y'all will continue to want to invest in the island.
Sure. This is not something we need to put on the agenda again, since we've already agreed to. Do we do it through a resolution?
I don't remember how they did it.
I think in 11 we passed a resolution, I was on the board, and I believe we passed a
I
resolution.
believe
I thought
so.
we did too.
What I would like to do is I would like to bring back an interlocal agreement between the city and the water district, and get it, get everything done possibly at the next meeting.
Okay. That might be a little too soon for us. We're still in the process of obtaining new legal counsel.
Okay.
And we would like, we definitely want to need our legal counsel to review that before it's done. Maybe the first meeting in February,
Okay. All right.
depending on how
But
soon.
when we passed it, then we didn't draw up an interlocal agreement, I guess.
I believe we did.
We had to.
I think we did. Yes, sir. It's been a few years since then, but also what we're looking at is the TERS board will consist of 8 members, and y'all do have one place on that board, and Scott was appointed the last time, but it was for a 2-year term, so it's since then expired. So we're looking for Scott to get reappointed, or whatever the board's wishes are. And he really does kind of understand what a TERS is.
Okay, question, Mr. Thomas?
Yes. What is a tax increment reinvestment zone?
A tax increment reinvestment zone is a tool that cities can use to generate funding to finance infrastructure improvements.
And so you want a tax...
So the way it works, my name's Bill DeLibero. I'm the city manager, Bill DeLibero.
Okay.
And the way it works is you set an area, a district, and that's what we've done. The map defines the district, the area in purple, and you define a time period as well. So this was initiated in 2011, and it's supposed to run until 2026. So it's a 15-year period. And one of the things that the interlocal agreement we just changed with the county is the first year for payment of taxes is 2015, because the county was concerned that they might have to pay taxes for the past years, that when it wasn't approved. So we'll start this current year. So for a period of 11 years, taxes that would be paid, any new taxes that would be paid in this purple area will go into this fund, this TERS fund, and that money that's generated will be used to build infrastructure in that purple area.
In other words, what you're telling me is any tax increases wouldn't come to us, it would come back to
The area.
The reinvestment zone.
EJT or whatever that is.
For a period of 15 years, and then once the period expires, it all goes back to the original way.
I have a question. The tax increase is based on valuation. It's not necessary. So let's say we would raise our taxes. That money's not going to go into the tours.
No, sir.
It's only when the valuation of that property increases.
It's all based on value.
Correct.
And they're mostly undeveloped or dilapidated, deteriorated, needed projects.
Wait a minute. I don't know, I'm kinda familiar with South Padre Island, but I think I'm looking at Pablo's joint right there. Mr. Cunningham's, my friend. Am I wrong?
Well, it's in the district, but you continue to get taxes for that. Now, were he to make,
Is that or is that not Isla Grande, and is the green spot just, lower on the page, Saida? Am I right or wrong?
I don't believe so, no, sir.
but for any
You don't
exist,
believe so or you don't know so?
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's
all right.
I
Thanks,
can't say
Lord.
for 100%.
That would be
But-
north.
This right here is the Isola Bella property.
And further south, that's Isla Bella? You think that's
Oh, wait
Isla
a-
Bella?
Oh, wait a minute, that's there.
I know that
Yeah,
the
that's
Schwartz
Isabella
tract
Bella.
is located within the zone.
That's what that is,
The
that's
Schwartz
vacant
tract.
property.
That is the Schwartz tract, right there. Yeah. That's what that
And
is.
further
That's
south,
stripes, that's stripes,
Yeah, that's, ain't that the Schwartz tract right there?
that's stripes, yeah.
further south,
No, this would be the short track.
Maybe that is it.
This is the bridge coming in. So that would be the stripes, that would be, to come off, that's short. This is the property in Solabella, the vacant property.
So
The
that-
Miramar piece there.
Okay, that's what it is.
so the way it benefits us is if there's a vacant property, and
Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sure. I'll have to figure it out.
this
And the
might
ideal
be-
is
you
the
may be
vacant
right.
property, you
Rick,
build a
you might be
hotel on
right.
it,
That might
the
be
taxes
the old
increase,
Isla
and that's what
Bella.
You add
The new
basically,
value.
it's public improvements are what you're putting in, sidewalks, landscaping, all of the public improvement type things. It's not for private development, it's public improvements that are brought back.
It's a concept of if you build it, they will come. I mean,
Sounds
we're
more
trying
like a
to
city
enhance-
problem than a water district problem, man.
we're trying to enhance, the ability for developers to come in, improve their buildings, improve their properties, make it more attractive for people to wanna come and build.
We're not giving up any,
We're not giving anything up.
Not giving
You're
anything up.
gaining in the long run, in the 15 years when those projects become developed and they go on the tax rolls for large amounts of dollars. You're gaining at that point.
And then when the 15 years is up, I
It
mean,
reverts to the current tax rate.
Yes,
Does
sir.
this go in the bank or like in the investment fund or?
well, ideally, we'd take out a bond to do infrastructure improvements, and the money would be used to pay off that bond.
Oh, okay.
And then when the period expires, the money goes back to the water district, the county.
The district has no obligation on the bonding.
no,
course
no,
not.
it'd be the city.
That's correct.
You're looking for a tax break.
No,
Yeah,
it's,
am I
basically
right or
you're
wrong?
freezing the tax rate on those properties.
We're
If you
looking,
freeze
yes.
the tax rate on that property, you're looking for a tax break on
Any-
future taxes. Am I right or
For a
wrong?
period
If
of
the
11
valuation
years,
goes up.
that's correct,
Bingo.
yes.
Thank you.
any other questions?
I think it's a great deal personally, and this has been a lot of work that's gone into this. I know you've put a lot of work into this, a lot of meetings and a lot of joint agencies. This is a good way to grow the tax base and the community.
Okay. All right, very good. If you can stay in touch with Carlos, about the interlocal agreement, and, as soon as we do get an attorney and he can review it, so we'll get back with you.
Great.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
Thank you.
All right,
In the
thank you very
meantime,
much.
though, I would look to see if you can find the previous minutes and agenda from the meeting at that time.
It might be a resolution or a.
Maybe Darla might remember the date, or she's been involved with it a little bit.
What I can also do, and, you know, I don't know if you want to consider, this or not, but legally and technically, y'all already have approved participating
Right.
in it and passed all the laws.
Right.
And the only thing that we would really need action from y'all from a legal standpoint
Is a
is
new interlocal.
appointment for the board member.
And a new interlocal.
Well, the interlocals
Interlocals should
probably,
all be in place.
it should all be still good.
Can we do that now or do we have to put it on the agenda? To
So
the
do an appointment.
Yeah,
you
we're
put it
gonna have to put it on the agenda.
Oh.
But I will serve, and you put
Okay,
it
I
on
was
the
gonna
next
say,
agenda.
do it right now.
All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. All right, gentlemen, we're gonna move to item number 11. Discussion regarding bids received on the following property struck off to Cameron County for itself and other taxing jurisdictions from a tax-free sale conducted on July 3rd, 2014. Three properties there.
Hi.
We have, Ms. Monica Solis.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Those are the
One of the
ones.
presentations.
Ms. Monica Solis, from,
I'm with the Linebaugher office.
awesome.
Linebaugher, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson office. We're your delinquent tax attorneys.
Delinquent tax attorneys. They're ours.
Thank you, sweetie. Them guys, okay.
Yeah.
And girls.
The ones that are always coming after me for back taxes, them guys, all right.
Well, essentially, gentlemen, what we have before you tonight are 3 properties that Laguna Madre Water District has an interest in. These properties, there were several years of delinquent taxes owed. We filed a suit against the properties in attempts to collect those taxes. No agreement or no payment of the taxes was ever done, so then we thereafter took the properties and put them up for sale. At the original tax sale, we are required to start the bidding at the lesser of 2 things, either the appraised value of the property or what's due in taxes and costs. If the minimum opening bid is not met, then the properties are then struck off, and ownership of those properties then goes into the taxing authorities who all have an interest. So in this case, the 3 properties, the 3 taxing authorities who have an interest in the property are Cameron County, Point Isabel ISD, and Laguna Madre Water District. At the point that these properties then there get struck off, they are considered exempt properties and are no longer incurring any kind of tax liability. In an attempt to help our clients get these properties put back onto the tax rolls so that they can then thereafter incur that tax liability, and also in an attempt to recoup what was originally owed to the taxing authorities, we'll hold what we call a tax resale. At the tax resale, we are allowed to entertain a much lesser offer than what was originally owed, conditioned on the approval of the taxing authorities to approve that amount. So this tax resale that we do, we conduct it somewhat similar to a tax sale, where we'll go out to the courthouse steps to encourage competitive bidding and try to get the highest offer that we can. I believe we've given you a packet of information that contains all the information concerning the 3 properties and what the 3 highest offers were. I know looking at the offers, on 2 of the offers that were received, Laguna Madre would not receive any money at all. But if you take a look at it, Mr. Thomas, the amounts that were bid,
I know, dear.
yeah, don't even really cover the costs.
Well, what my question is, the only question I have, and I'm gonna agree to adopt this. Where is Laguna Vista Club Edition?
Christensen Land. Just north, Christensen Land, just past the golf course on the right.
That's Holly Beach.
Yeah, past Holly Beach Road, all there on the right.
Oh, yeah,
That's not all Christensen Land, that's.
I know,
yeah.
okay. I just wondered, it was just a question.
It's all landlocked too, by the way.
And I think in the packet of information we've given you, it also details a map of where the properties are located.
We didn't.
They're landlocked. You can't, I didn't know you have no access to it.
Oh, that's debatable too. My dad, Christensen told my dad he had a landlocked piece and it wasn't.
That's why you gotta do due diligence. All right. Any other questions?
Nope.
No? All right, let's move on to item number 12. Discussion and possible action on the resolution approving the bids
We take
received.
no action under.
That was
11?
discussion only.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go discussion and possible action on resolution approving the bids received on tax resale conducted on July 3rd, 2014 for the above mentioned properties. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Friedman, second by Mr. Thomas, to approve the bids that were received on the tax resale conducted on July 3rd. Any questions?
Sure seems cheap.
You should get $1 anyway.
I know that no monies were received, but if, like I said, if you take a look at it, the amounts that were bid don't even cover the costs that were. Yeah.
But now they're gonna be back on the rolls.
They will.
So they'll be back on the rolls at the appraised value, so at least we'll be generating.
That's correct. And these properties are still subject to the 2013-2014 taxes. prorated 2014 taxes, but the new owner would then be subject to those years.
But he's not gonna be able to go in there and say, hey, man, they're only worth $800. I know what that property is worth.
Well, the new owner could go in there and make any argument he wanted to. What the appraisal district values the property at, they have their way of assessing that, so I can't make any, comments concerning that.
Okay.
Anybody can make any argument they want.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you all.
You're off the hook.
All right.
Monica, we,
But he sure got a screaming deal.
but could we at least get $1? Just one. Take up a collection.
Mark, you got $1?
No, don't have one on me, but.
But he's right back in the
All right, that's even better.
Good to see you.
Thank you all. Mark, good seeing you. All right, let's move on to let's go back up to item number 6, General Manager's Report. Mr. Galvan.
Sure, we had, scheduled some photo sessions, for the whole board. So we'd like, Bailey's idea was to put a photo in the entrance of the office of the whole board,
We gotta
we're
stand
missing one now,
outside.
So we're gonna have to wait, we canceled. And then individually again, cause those are old pictures.
Yes, yeah,
Wait till we get whoever comes in, point it,
And the
whatever.
person
You're
that's gonna
saying
do
we
the-
have to stand outside. Somehow, if they do this digitally, we can take the picture here, they can digitally print outside, so we don't have to
We'll
stand
schedule
outside.
during a warm day, Wade.
Warmer day.
Warmer day.
Yeah.
And until we get
Besides,
5.
I'm not sure I'm not sure I wanna be party to a picture with.
Just make sure the photographer knows Photoshop.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
Make sure the photographer knows how to Photoshop.
Better than,
Airbrush the wrinkles out.
better than fuzzy.
All right. Next.
Okay, we had some certificates that were sent through mail. One was for Richard A. Miles.
All right,
They
Rick.
were from Senator Eddie Lucio Jr.
Cool. Wow,
There
dude.
you go.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your
Thank you.
board member. And then we have one for Nancy, but she's not in. We
All right.
made it to her.
All right.
So, that's
Look at the
all.
wind
Looks
flying
very nice,
through that.
doesn't it?
Yeah, what's the
That's
talk
all
right
right.
now?
Oh, no.
Wow.
Look at that.
You'll get one.
We can get one when we got.
No, not yet.
How come I didn't get one?
You send me.
I don't think he likes me.
All right.
Oh, we gotta find a foreign chick like that.
Magnet on
His
the.
daddy's no Brownsville kid. I probably beat him up down by the Queen Theater one day. I don't know, he might be mad at me.
Let us say compliments of Senator Eddie Lucio.
Awesome.
All right, thank you, Senator.
Very good. Next item, Mr. Galvan.
I know that it was mentioned, workshop for the end of the month on, goals
Oh, I thought
and,
that.
I had brought this up to Mr. Galvan just to have a little workshop. Maybe we can do it before a meeting, maybe we might not have to have it on a Saturday, but just some goals and priorities of what we want to accomplish this year and then next year, because we're gonna be, here for the next couple of years. Anything you guys wanna bring up at that workshop, we can bring up. Just clean, house cleaning stuff, whatever we wanna bring up. What do you think?
I'm in favor.
One thing that, just wanted to know is see what day, y'all would be available.
Would it be more convenient to have it at 5 before a regular meeting for everyone?
Sure.
Yes,
If we're gonna have a whole lot more meetings, I think we ought to vote ourselves a stipend.
Well, that's not on the agenda right now, Mr. Thomas. All right.
And I believe that, there was another
I
one
missed it again.
that,
Yeah,
another workshop.
yeah,
included.
for January 28th, we're, planning to give that final presentation for the master plan for the Port Isabel Water Reclamation Facility. And it's about a 45-minute, presentation, and then try to have it as a workshop so it can be, open.
Say the
wanna do
Corolla
that
boys
before
are
the
gonna
next
be
meeting,
here.
Right.
At 5 o'clock?
That's gonna
Yeah.
be before the next meeting, okay,
Right,
so let's
right.
go, the first meeting in February, we'll have, if that's convenient with everyone.
Fine, that's the 11th.
The
This
11th?
is another Corolla presentation.
Yeah, Corolla would be the 28th around 5:30.
No, all right. It's not even, all right, so we're gonna have a 5 o'clock workshop for the second meeting of January, and then we'll do a 5 o'clock workshop for the first meeting in February. Okay, all right, very good.
That's what I really wanted, just to set up the date for the workshops.
Awesome.
On 11? February 11?
Oh, yes.
Anything else, Mr. Dillon?
That's it on my part.
Okay, any questions? All right, let's move to item 7, District Engineers Report.
Right, so the first item's an update on the Quad Disc Pump Station construction. And we got the first pump in the new pump station started up and ready to go. And we're in the process of getting the SCADA moved from our existing pump station to the new one. And that should get done tomorrow. And so, you know, pending that stays on schedule, we'll probably try to get a crane out there towards the end of next week to pull the new pump out of the old can, extend the shaft, and then drop it into the new can. So probably by Friday of next week, we'll have both pumps started up and working in the new pump station. And then from there, it's just a matter of demolition and site work to wrap up the project. So that's where we're at with the pump station. So the next item is the annual water rights. Oh, questions?
Under Coates thing, apparently, we're already silting in our cement pond, which means it's coming from our reservoir.
Right.
Which I feel that maybe our suction side of our reservoir is starting to silt in, because it's the only place it can come from. It's got to pick it up there and move it. Can we figure out some way of, from the suction side of the reservoir, to get that dredge dug out or something, because we don't want to fill up our cement pond anymore, Daisy May. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I'll look into that to see, because I know at that Reservoir 4 there are two parts of it, and that first section is probably intended to catch sediment, but I doubt we've ever cleaned it out. Maybe we need to take a look at that.
We haven't cleaned it's like a well.
The more mud we move to the water plant, the harder the water plant works, guys. Pretty simple. You don't need an old master plumber to explain that to you. That's all I gotta say on that one, Forrest.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll go ahead and look at, reviewing how much silt or what we can do at Reservoir 4.
Clean the wells.
Which is way down.
Now,
Yeah.
let's go to the water rights. Boy, this is gonna be good.
All right.
All right, so I guess... So I guess the next one is the annual water rights. And, the main point is we did get our December master plan after the board packet went out. So for year-to-date summary was 4,851. And then we'd also did one order for Fish and Wildlife for about 339. So our annual water usage for the year was 5,265.
Mm-hmm.
5,265 was how much water we used in 2014, and
What?
5,265 acre feet,
And
more or less.
what's the total allocated amount?
That full proration is 5,550. But one other update is that even though the reservoirs haven't gone above 50%, the balance is at 47.5%. I did have that discussion on how they've been implementing that proration rule. And so they did correct our authorization on this report. So our current authorized water right is now 6,862.9. So they gave us basically, and they'll start doing the accounting correctly.
But you're still at 90%. I mean,
Right.
90% of your water rights.
Right.
Until the reservoirs go over 50.
Plus, we've just bought another 156
Correct. That's the other item.
acre feet.
Well, that's not municipal though, is it?
No, this is agriculture. So the next,
70,
So the
50%.
154 is not gonna be.
it'll be, if we convert it to municipal, it's 50% of that number
Okay,
after,
so-
and then it'll
so
get
another
added to our
70.
certificate that we have.
All right.
So yeah, that'll be part of it in the next quarter. I'll get that amendment submitted and get all that taken care of for that other certificate we just acquired, to convert it to municipal. But yeah, so on the wastewater treatment plants, 3 of Andy Bowie, Isla Blanca, and Laguna Vista, their permits have to get, all the plants' permits have to get submitted every 5 years. And so this January 1st, we had to submit for those 3 sewer plants. And we got them mailed out December 30th, followed up with some lab work the first week of January. And today, we already got Andy Bowie declared administratively complete, so that's gone to technical review. And the other ones, are up at TCEQ in review. So, that's kind of the activity that was going on in December for the treatment plants. And, we also have we're just also doing the submittals for those awards we did at the last meeting, as far as for the weir gates at Isla Blanca and the clarifiers. So all that material is getting fabricated. It should be getting here around March or April. So we'll figure out what the install at that point.
We gone out for bids on any equipment changes, blower motors or anything?
No, blowers is still with engineering. I need to, there hasn't, since I was working on the permit renewal, I haven't had any more progress on getting the blowers out to bid.
We don't wanna see that dollar amount.
Sooner the better, sooner the better.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you give us a guesstimate of what a blower motor costs now?
A one turbo compressor, it'd be on the range of 200,000. To get the change. But the thing is, one turbo compressor will also replace.
Chump change, man. Chump change.
Well, the thing is, at each plant we only need one turbo compressor, and that'll replace all of our blowers. There are 4 or 5 that we have today.
And recoup our money
and it's like an 8-year payback.
8-year
No.
payback, energy savings.
Charles, the 200 grand does include the oxygen sensors and all the infrastructure to
Yeah,
it, or
there's a
no?
lot of contingency in there. That has a buffer.
Okay.
So that's kind of where those are at. I guess the main update for the Port Isabel Water Reclamation Facility is the fact that we should be presenting the final master plan along with the presentation on the 28th.
Excuse me?
For the Port Isabel Water Reclamation Facility, we'll be presenting the master plan when we do our workshop on the 28th. And so since we already got that scheduled out, we'll be scheduling the workshop for 5 o'clock, and then the board meeting to start probably maybe 6:30, if that's all right. And basically go from there. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, really, a lot of the updates are going to be the change in our water rights conditions, the fact that we're not in drought anymore, but we still have this pressing need at the wastewater treatment plant, and we got to think about long range, because when the drought does show, we're not going to have the time to just pick up and build something for it. So that's kind of where things are sitting right now. But yeah, that's it for the engineer's report.
Any other questions for Mr. Ortiz? All right, item number 8, Director of Operations report, Mr. Valdez.
Yes, members of the board, December was cold and rainy, but guys still got some work done here. We had 11 5/8 meters that we swapped for the month, and 2 1-inch meters that we swapped. They tested 8 meters between 2, 4, and 6-inch meters. They tested 8 of those, but all of them came out accurate, so they are working. But we still have some couple of 4 inches that we're going to trade out, but we're waiting for them to come in. The meters haven't come in yet, so we're going to be doing that. On the distribution side, we completed the 6 water taps for the month, and then we had 3 water leaks for the month of December still. And we're still working out there on the Tama. We're just waiting. I think the construction is already completed. We're just waiting to do a back T sample for us to connect the water. But since the rain and the weather, we haven't been able to do that yet. We'll get that done. On the collection side, I believe you all got an email on that sinkhole on Ebony. As of yesterday at 3 p.m. it was already repaired. The street, however, hasn't been opened because with the weather, the rain today, more likely they'll come in either tomorrow or Friday and just so they can open the road, put some caliche and open that road back up. But it was kind of the same deal as it happened back in 2008. By the time the guys they were digging out there, the 2 services that were connected to the main line were just the services. There was no main line when they dug. I guess it just kind of sunk on its own because it was egg-shaped on both sides. I think that kind of gave way, and then it just kind of went down. They had 12 points there, but it was still a little muddy, and you could see the water still coming out. So it's pretty kind of just that pocket, that street right there is just a bad street. But they got that taken care of. And then also they had we got called out to 6300 Padre for line stoppage. It's
over at the travel lodge area. And upon, the guys inspecting the line stoppage, you know, they got it cleared up, so, but these guys went back with the camera and videoed the line. They noticed that, somebody had, bored before, so they broke our line. So we had AT&T, we found out, with South Padre Island, we found out AT&T were the ones working out there. We did get in contact with AT&T and they went out, they repaired everything for us. So they took care of everything out there.
Okay.
And, South Padre Island also helped us out with that, you know, with talking to them and showing them that they were the ones that got the permit on there and everything was good, so they took care of everything. Yes.
I'd like to apologize, I usually turn my phone off. Was it, the cable people that drilled a hole through?
AT&T, they were boring and
Okay.
they broke the line up.
They fixed everything for us.
But they got everything, they fixed everything. And then, and also, just for Whitey, the channel track over at Isla Blanca, we got the diffusers all across, the guys finished up, it's working, we got it going.
It worked.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
But we're gonna keep doing little sections at a time at the other place, that way we can get all taken care of. And,
You use the contraption?
a little bit, but we kind of modified it into
Okay.
the way we wanted it. We got, but that's all I have for now.
Any questions for the Director of Operations? Move on to item number 9, Interim Finance Director's Report. Lynn?
Okay, the audit has been finished. So next board meeting, the auditors are gonna come for a 15-minute presentation. If you have any questions, they're gonna bring the reports. I'm gonna ask them to email them to me, that way I can send you an email previous to the meeting, okay?
Okay, very good. Yeah, we usually get something.
Yeah,
Hard-
those
hardbound
packages.
copy.
You get a hardbound
Prior.
copy
Yeah,
before the meeting.
they're gonna bring some, but also I'm gonna ask them for an email,
Okay.
that way you can have it before.
Leave mine, don't even email me, just leave mine with Daisy and I'll come by and pick it up.
Okay.
Because I don't have email, my wife has email, and she has to call me and tell me she has email.
Oh.
All right. Any questions? No? All right, let's move on to item number 10. Consider and accept a letter of resignation from Ms. Nancy Martinez as Board Director, Position 2 of the Laguna Madre Water District.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I did receive an email and I passed it on to all the board members. And this time we just recommend that the board accept the letter of resignation from Ms. Nancy Martinez.
I have a motion, please.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Wells,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Friedman. Any questions?
I would like to, for the record, state that I'd like to thank Mrs. Martinez for her time. I know it was short with the board, but, you know, she took the effort to run for office and was elected as office. Unfortunately, probably had some other personal issues, work-related to move on, but I think, I thank her for her short time and service with the district.
I really thank her on part of the board, and I have done that prior to this meeting, so I'll do it again and part from the board, saying thank you for the job with the district.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Wells, a second by Mr. Friedman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
One opposed.
Mr. Thomas opposed? Let the record reflect that I'm in favor of the motion also. All right, let's move on to item 13. Consider and approve Professional Services Committee's recommendation for the selection of a firm for legal services for the district and authorizing the general manager to enter into contract negotiations.
Okay, at this time,
Let's, first of all, we need to get a motion first, Mr. Thomas? Or do we need to hear, let's hear the
Yeah, I'd like to hear-
recommendation.
I'd like to hear what I'm.
Sure.
as part of the Professional Services Committee, we met and we looked at all the resumes and qualifications and and also the proposal for payment. And, the committee has decided to recommend BDS, which is, BD Bengal Drama, represented by Eddie Lucio III, to be our, legal counsel for the new matter.
Do we have a motion, please?
Well, I have a question there, do we wait until after the motion?
Let's,
Huh? Well, my question would be, Mr. Lucio spends 80 to 90 days a year in the Texas legislature, how's he gonna get to these meetings?
He said, when he does, and I don't think he spends that much time at, the meetings, or really does that, but he said he'd send, one of his partners in his place.
the Texas legislature meets once every 2 years, they don't meet every year.
We were given, copies of, what their charges would be. That would be my only question.
Let's get a motion to approve the recommendation, and then we'll get at some questions. Okay?
I'd like to, make an amendment to the motion that we, really nail down what it's gonna cost us. I didn't bring it with me, I should have.
The packet was $200 an hour. Correct.
$200 an hour, and that's from gate to gate.
Is that one-way travel?
We talked to him, he said it's just one way.
It's a one-way travel, so it's,
We got a
Paying
30-minute.
$1,000 a month.
Hmm?
$12.50 a month we were paying prior.
we're paying $1,200. This
$1,200
one,
a month.
this ain't it cheaper.
Well, my attitude is we're paying $1,200 a month, paying $600 a meeting. Mr. Attorney, take it or leave it. Simple as that. You can float this thing up and down all you want. Does that mean when he shows up, we don't have a quorum? It has happened, rarely, but it has in the 2 years that I've been here. But he only gets his 30-minute travel time? I mean, it's just where I'm sitting. I'm sorry, guys. It's where I'm sitting.
I think-
I do not
I
have a
think-
problem with the firm whatsoever.
Well, I think guaranteeing someone $600 a meeting is wrong when, if we have a 45-minute meeting and he gets 30 minutes of travel, why should he get $600?
Could we say cost not to exceed
And if
600?
we have a 3-hour meeting,
Well, that's the way it
and
goes.
it's raining from Brownsville back and forth, I mean,
I like the monthly retainer personally, but I'm open for whatever. I just think a monthly budgeted retainer fee is.
That's a safe way to go. We know where we're at.
at least we know every month what we're gonna be paying. Won't be no surprises.
Yeah, if we do the monthly retainer, the problem I had with our previous council is he.
What's sleeping at the table over there?
Well, texting at the table, leaving the meetings. Also, when he wouldn't show up for a meeting, he'd still get paid.
Not because he sent a paralegal.
And,
No, when we had no representation, he would still get paid the $600, and I didn't think that was right.
I'd like to mention also that if he does get some work, he'll take it with him, and he's gonna be working over there 1, 3, 4 hours, that'll be also additional cost.
So, Mr. Thomas, you would like your motion to be $1,200 a month retainer? Similar to what we had?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. But if he doesn't show, he doesn't get paid.
$600 a meeting.
But if he didn't show, he doesn't get paid.
Correct.
Correct. No.
Him or somebody from his law firm has to be here.
I'm fine with that.
And
All right, so we have a motion by Mr. Thomas.
I'd show up for $600 a meeting and sit over there and clean my fingernails when we have a meeting like this and there's no action to be taken by the attorney.
Free beer tomorrow.
All right, so we have a motion by Mr. Thomas. Do I get a second, please? His motion.
I'll second.
Yeah, we have a second by Mr. Wells. Any other discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On this, retainer. Any other additional work that he does, receive, is that included in the retainer?
Oh,
That's it?
no,
Or-
that's still a tack
That's the
on.
minimum.
That's
Retainer's
pol-
the minimum.
Okay.
That's
I wanna
a
make it
tack
clear
on.
because-
So
That's
if
an
you guys,
add-on.
so if you guys make a phone call to him, that's $200 right
So
there.
don't call him.
Usually
Don't
15
call
minute,
him.
15-minute increments.
You wait till he shows up and then ask him in the meeting, then it's free.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Thomas, we have a second by Mr. Wells.
Basically boils down $600 per meeting.
Okay, to,
You can
Be
put
here.
includes,
All right.
Jeff, you can put includes 2 hours of legal advice.
to include 2 hours of legal advice.
Up to 2 hours of legal advice, and then pay fee after that.
Sure.
That
Okay.
eliminates that.
Okay.
Do you want to amend the minute, or do you want to amend the motion?
You want to amend the motion?
I would. I mean,
Okay.
I think
The
that's
motion-
fair,
the
a
motion-
fair deal.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
All right, hold on. Mr. Thomas's motion
I
was.
want to make clear what my motion was. We will pay him $1,200 a month for attending meetings, $600 per meeting.
Mr. Govan, write it down.
If he's here, he gets paid. If he's not here, he doesn't get paid.
Him or representation from the
Representation.
council.
Or his
Or office,
representation,
joint
yeah,
office,
he can
yeah.
send anyone from his
From the
law firm,
office,
and
correct.
that qualifies
And that-
as
and-
legal counsel.
All right, the
Now, if you
amended.
want to amend that motion to give us a little more free time,
Well, that would stop Carlos from feeling bad about making a 15-minute phone call when he really
Correct.
needs to.
Yeah. All right, let's, and that to include also 2 hours of legal advice outside the meeting per month.
under an amendment.
Consultation.
To amend the motion.
That's a consultation amended by Mr. Wells.
Friedman.
Mr. Wells made the second.
You seconded it, but
But
Scott made the
that's
motion.
Scott's gonna do the
add
amendment, okay?
2 hours
Once
of,
we get the agreement, we'll bring it up on the next board meeting,
And
and we'll see
if
it.
he'll agree to that, I guess the board is willing to go for that.
Yep.
Okay,
okay.
done. All right, so all those in favor say aye according to the motion and the amendment.
Aye.
Aye, and you don't have to vote again, because once the amended motion is passed, it concludes the motion too.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, item 14, consider and approve professional services committee's recommendation for selection of a firm for financial advisors for the district and authorizing the general manager to enter into contract negotiations. Let's hope it's not as long as the last one.
Okay, on this one here, we just received one RFQ proposal, RFP, and, it is from Estrada and Hosa. I would like to recommend that we keep Estrada and Hosa, and then we bring.
That we what? We go.
Estrada and Hosa,
Yes, I know who they are.
okay. That's the only one that we received. Everybody that called in and they, questioned what type of, advisor they would be doing, advisory, and I mentioned the bonds, tax, bonds and that type of. They were thinking that it was investments, for investments and they didn't say anything back, so.
They've been good to us.
They've been good to us, they've handled all of our bonds, they're familiar with our entity. My recommendation, that I would,
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
yes, I motion to continue with the Hinojosa.
Second.
Oh,
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Friedman and a second by Mr. Thomas.
yeah.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I have a comment, and I will bring the agreement, there is an agreement,
Yeah.
we'll bring it in on the next board meeting, so that we'll see it and decide.
Okay, awesome,
Thank you.
very good, very good. Item 15, consider and approve change order number 2 for water plant number 2 microfiltration project.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Thomas,
Second.
second by Mr. Wells. Any questions on the matter?
On
Any-
the question,
any comments?
I'd like Charles to explain what we're doing. It's on over the chlorination.
Correct.
Right, right now we're doing the pilot.
injection.
Right now, we're doing the pilot to add the chlorine dioxide. We're changing up the way we're feeding our chemicals for our disinfection, basically to prevent the THMs from forming. And there's going to be Paul, the membrane module original equipment manufacturer, is the one who did all of our screens and the controls for the water plant. And since we're making changes to them, this change order is to give him that programming time to revise the screens for all the changes we're doing out in the plant for the chemical feed.
All right, no further discussion, no further questions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 16, consider and approve emergency action for sewer pipe repair on Ebony Lane in Laguna Vista.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Thomas,
Second.
second by Mr. Wells. We've already discussed that with Mr. Wells
I've
as
got
a
a
report.
question.
Question, yes, sir?
Fellas, we got trouble all up and down Ebony Lane, and we don't know, Dr. Charles, we might have to do some stabilization, soil stabilization, because what has happened, these lines have sunk up to, what'd you say, 3 feet
Right.
below their normal grade level. We might have, Lafitte's well might be working here, okay? I don't know what's going on, but we've also got 2,150 feet of pipe on Ebony Lane, 6 or 8 inch pipe. And I wanted Charles to pull out a section of the pipe so we could look at it, and if it was, one time back then, they made this foam core stuff, and it was supposed to be the cat's meow. Well, it didn't meow. Okay. We've got that situation. We got about over 2,000 feet of pipe we're going to have to dig up from, say, 4 feet to 12 feet deep.
Yeah.
And replace, or we're just going to be replacing pieces of it forever.
Right.
I
You
mean,
do the whole line, you need to do the whole line.
Right,
So-
and
It's gonna become a liability also.
And this
Yep.
is the same section that we had awarded to AGH to perform the plans and specs, and they've already submitted them. They're sitting on my desk for review, so we'll be able to put it out for bid here pretty quick.
The whole line.
Yeah, the whole line. It would include Ebony, Taylor, the point repairs to get prepared for the cured in place pipe,
Okay.
and then I'm thinking of adding for TxDOT is doing some work on FM 803, and we need to expand the steel casing there about 70 feet. So I'm thinking of putting that in the same bid package.
That's a big expense. Do we have some money for that project around, or?
Well, I was thinking I'd charge it to the bond because it's a raw water line, kind of along the same lines as
It is
like
raw water.
pipeline. I don't know if that's okay.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, one of the plans is that, the line is so deep now, that, we can even just go up higher now, but shallower.
You're gonna run into
dig.
continual problems piecing it together. You need to just redo the whole line.
The whole line, that's what it is.
Before they go back, before they pave the thing.
Right,
They're
and
slated to
Correct,
pave that.
Correct, before they pave it.
Right, and the only thing as far as having to break it up is G&T skipped the intersection of Mesquite and Taylor and Holloman Taylor, and so I need to see if we can wait for the full sewer package to be bid out, or if we need to get those couple of sections for the paving that they just kind of skipped
done.
the L for us.
Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of, I'll have that meeting tomorrow morning.
Okay. I know you guys will work it out. All right, we have a motion by Mr. Thomas, a second by Mr. Wells. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item 17, consider and approve annual maintenance contract for Atlas Copco Compressors LLC.
Now these are the 2 compressors that got installed with a microfiltration membrane. They're there in the new building. And so this is a request to just enter into a maintenance contract where they can be coming in at 6-month intervals to be checking the oil, changing the filters, make sure everything on it's working, and be proactive instead of waiting for a breakdown before they ever show up.
What's it gonna cost us?
Well, there's 2 plans. They have a 4,000 K service or an $8,000 service, which is an annual cost. And I mean, I'm kind of the attachments on here. Right. So I mean, basically, I mean, we're kind of unclear what the 8,000 gives us versus the 4,000.
Motion on the floor. I'd like to table this until Charles can come back with some more information on this as far as what they're gonna do for what they're gonna make.
Okay.
So I move to table at this time, item 17.
Second.
We have a motion to table by Mr. Thomas, second by Mr. Wells, until we can find out what the $8,000 plan is.
Next
Yeah,
meeting.
well, actually, I take that back. It's really running hours. So if we expect to run the compressors 4,000 hours versus 8,000 hours, that's what the price is for. But let me verify the runtime, and then we can bring it back up here in 2 weeks.
What's your current usage on the runtime? What are you, that's
Cutting
cutting it in half. So what are you currently running the?
Well, we run the plant 24/7.
Yes, that
I
doesn't
know.
work.
I know. The compressors that they turn on when we have to do a backwash, or whenever the air piping gets turned on, that's when the air compressors are running. So I know Noe, let me get with our water plant operator, because he'll know the runtime that we have, and then I can bring that back to the next meeting.
All right, so we have a motion to table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 18, consider and approve purchase of 4 air release valves for water plant number 2, high service pump station.
On this one, I recommend no action. Just we pulled the backup out of the board.
All right, no action on item 18. Let's move on to item 19, consider and approve revised financial report as of October 31st, 2014. Has everybody read that report? Any questions? We have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Friedman,
Second.
second by Mr. Wells. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consider and approve the financial report as of November 30th, 2014. Has everybody read the report? Yep. Any questions? Motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Friedman,
Second.
second by Mr. Wells. Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 21, consider and ratify the purchase of odor solve frame for lift station 19.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is for the odor on the lift station 19, the mechanism that we have there. When we did the upgrade to lift station 19, they had to come back and by the time they were going to put that back, they had to put a new frame on for the odor solve itself, and then the fan had busted from it being out there, so we had to get a new fan, and then they also had to replace the pump on that, getting the whole new system up and running again. I mean, this is coming from the company Odorsoft. We usually get a single source for this, and we haven't had any complaints from the smell that like we used to have in the station 19. I mean, it's just something that needed to get done.
Did I hear you say something was broke? You know, I'm getting old and deaf in my
feeble
old age, all right?
The intake fan had busted on that, so
Okay.
they had to replace that one. And then while they were there,
Well, that's under warranty, though.
they had
Number
to-
19, gentlemen, is the lift station right in front of you.
Well,
It's grand.
that's for
It's a
another.
grand.
No, this portion of work was not on the construction contract.
Yeah,
This
it's not
is
official.
the odor solve, the odor control system that was there in the old lift station, and it just got moved to the new lift station.
It was already there.
Okay.
Existing
Broken fan
equipment.
could have left, if there's somebody was complaining about odor with the fan not working, it could create odor situation.
Yes.
All right. We have a motion, please.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Wells,
How much is it gonna cost?
$51.75.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. Friedman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
One opposed.
One opposed. Mr. Thomas opposed. Motion carries. 22, consider and approve disbursements. Any questions, comments on disbursements?
I'm looking at them. I motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Friedman to approve disbursements. Second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Wells. All those, any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Meeting adjourned.